And that's the challenge we want to avoid, because losing muscle doesn't define what you see in the mirror. Because fundamentally, I think all of us, yes, weight loss is associated with a healthy lifestyle, but when you get up in the morning and when you look at the mirror, you really want to see a good shape. And that shape that you see in the mirror can only come from the preservation of muscle. Frankly, none of us mind getting old. We all mind getting uglier. So that's what we're hoping to do, to contribute to that high likelihood that you're going to look really good and really great, is to lose some weight, but lose it in a way that it preserves and shapes your body. There are many studies now, this is just not my word, that losing muscle is not a good thing. Many studies have been conducted, and many studies have shown that with many of the traditional diets, you are losing as much as 40% of muscle mass during that weight loss. It's not just the loss of fat that accounted for the overall weight loss. It is in fact 40% of it, as much as that, can come from the loss of muscle. But now we are beginning to understand that with muscle loss, that can be prevented if you have a high and significant amount of protein in what you eat. And that's what you're going to see from TR90, is that the eating plan is as important as the products that we're launching in the system. So to put this all together then, TR90 is about shaping your body. It's about body composition. It's about focusing totally on the loss of fat while preserving the muscle. So that when you have this lean muscle, you are going to look good when you look in front of the mirror. So with TR90 then, this new science that we're talking about, and you've heard about age lock and how we're looking at gene expression, we have done a lot of studies to make an attempt to understand what are the genes associated with overall fat composition. Why is it that certain fat gets metabolized quicker and so on. So we have conducted those studies together with our LifeGen collaborators so that we can infuse those insights during the course of developing the TR90 system. Fundamentally, what we want to do is to have 3 elements in the TR90 system. We want to make sure that when you use this system, you can increase your metabolic rate, especially the base metabolic rate. So in other words, if you have a heightened basal metabolic rate, you're going to burn more calories. The second thing we want to focus on is that when you have this metabolic engine, if you will, churning along really good and efficiently, that can only happen if we preserve the muscle. Nothing else increases your basal metabolic rate in your body as good as having good and healthy muscle. There's a third area that we are focusing our TR90 on, and that is the control of your desire to eat. And that desire to eat rests in the brain, and in a special part of the brain, in the hypothalamus, if you will. So, and if we can somehow control your appetite, and we can somehow make you feel fuller or more, have a sense of satiety with some of our products in TR90 system, then you will be establishing and be able to incorporate a healthy eating plan in your overall lifestyle. So those are the 3 key ways we think TR90 is working. I mentioned LifeGen, and they have been very key players in our TR90 development over the last 2 years or so. In fact, if you remember, when we told you about the LifeGen scientists, we told you about how they have been very active in the area of caloric restriction, in terms of how they are able to use their genetic understanding or their genetic tools and technology to study the mechanisms of caloric restriction and how they manage to impact the aging process. So all these things are coming together, and we have been using those insights from our LifeGen scientists to help us develop TR90. The way that we do it then is look at those far left panels that we call heat maps. Excuse me. All the way to the left is what we like to establish with our TR90 system, and that is to create a heat map that looks like the panel on the left. The one on the slightly over to the right of it, or next to it, is what would exist in a tissue, in adipose tissue, if you will. And that is not a genetic or gene expression profile that is optimal. The colors, the way that it's being distributed among the different genes relative to one on the left, you can see is a very different gene expression profile. So what we do during our studies then is to evaluate a variety of ingredients. Here I'm just showing a sample, and there's about 5 ingredients here, and try and see which particular ingredient could give us a gene expression profile that matches or approximates that all the way to the left. And what we can see is the one ingredient 4. That gave us, when we tested that particular ingredient, that gave us a gene expression profile that if I put it close to the one on the left, it looks rather similar. So that's the ingredient that we have selected as one of the ingredients that we are going to use in a TR90 supplement. So conceptually then, that's the approach and that's the technology that we use for selecting and gleaning the most optimal ingredients for the TR90 supplements. While the supplements have been developed to the best of our scientific knowledge to address certain aspects of how to maintain a healthy weight, there is one element that we cannot deny and we cannot actually put away. And that is the types of foods that you should be having in your eating plan or in your daily eating plan. The most important type of food that you should be eating should come from proteins. These proteins are very important to build muscle because those are the only types of foods that can actually build muscle. Nothing else can do that. While you're eating the proteins to build muscle, that increase in lean muscle leads to a collateral benefit, and that is it increases fat burning. Simple carbohydrates are not good, as we all recognize, and we continue to avoid that. Complex carbs, on the other hand, are something that you should be eating as well as part of a healthy diet, because complex carbs do not trigger this fat storing signal or the fat storing capacity as quickly as simple carbs would. So when you think about the food choices, you should be thinking proteins most of the time, fruits and vegetables, and less of carbs. So TR90, when you look at it, it's not about a single supplement. It's about a whole holistic approach to healthy weight management. It is not just about weight loss. It is about body composition. It is about a total focus on fat loss. The protein science also teaches us, and this is another insight that we have gained over the last year and a half, is the fact that it's not just how much protein you eat, it's how and when you eat that protein is also critical. Because, for example, in the morning, during the breakfast, you have just woken up, you're getting ready to rev up your metabolic engine. The only way to do that is really to make sure that you have some protein in your breakfast meal as well. Because all these benefits will come when you have an even consumption of proteins over the course of the day. Here's our first TR90 supplement. This supplement is called Jumpstart. Since it's a 90-day program, you take Jumpstart only for 15 days at the very beginning of the program, and then you follow and you start all 3 supplements at the beginning of on day 0, but you stop taking Jumpstart after 15 days, because that we find from our studies, those 2 weeks are sufficient to reset your gene expression and to prep your body up for maintaining the weight that you're going to lose, especially the fat that you're going to lose over the next 90 days. The second supplement is Control, and here is I mentioned about the brain, and here is a supplement that can help all of you to make sure that you feel full and you don't feel as hungry, so that you don't eat as much. One of the things that we find with most diets in general would be the fact that people feel miserable when they're on that diet. And the misery leads to only one outcome, and that is as soon as they get off the diet, they start eating again. A lot. That's not a good thing. We're hoping, but with the TR90 system, that is not going to happen, and this Control supplement will help that. And finally, the third supplement is the Fit supplement, and we have ingredients that we have screened and evaluated that we found to be effective to rev up that metabolic engine. Okay, it's going to help you burn more fat, it's going to help you preserve the lean muscle, and the use of this Fit supplement in the overall 3 supplement system is they're all complementary to each other. I've told you about the protein, and here's the shake. Here's the regular TR90 trim shake. It comes in 2 flavors, the vanilla and the chocolate version, and it has the highest quality protein possible that we have put into this shake. It tastes good, and as I mentioned, when you take this shake as part of your regular eating plan, it will help you to consume sufficient amount of protein to preserve that lean muscle. However, there are folks here who may or may not be able or would be interested in taking this regular protein shake. So we sort of thought that perhaps it's a good idea to bring you a green shake as well. So this is the vegetarian protein-based shake. Obviously it's called green shake because it's all that green stuff in there, right? So, and same amount of proteins per serving, 15 grams per serving. And as you can see here, if you're lactose intolerant, this is a shake you could be taking, and it's gluten-free and soy-free. So, now, there's one other snippet that you should know relating to this particular green shake. Vegetable proteins in general miss one important amino acid that is absolutely required for building muscle. This amino acid is called leucine, and what you don't appreciate, and you should, is the fact that in green shake, the reason why I'm sort of comfortable that it's comparable to the regular shake is the fact that we have added significant amounts of leucine, this amino acid that's required for muscle building, back into the green shake. So it's a complete shake and it's 100% similar to the one that people will be taking. So the eating plan is simple. Is choose the 2 proteins. Here are some examples. The protein source obviously could be the shakes, plus other things like fish and lean meat. The snacks, you can eat twice a day, the snacks, fruits and vegetables. And already in the US you have the Element Bar. And then finally, you should be eating 1 meal. And that meal consists of 2 proteins and the things listed there. The things to avoid are really pretty self-evident, right guys? I don't have to repeat that. I mean, you shouldn't be eating fast foods, fried foods, processed, white, simple carbs, and so on. So those are the things that I don't think it needs a lot of education on. So if you stick to this simple, straightforward eating plan, and if you maintain it even after you finish the TR90 system, I think you will find that all the things that TR90 has done in your body will be preserved and they will continue to work for you. We have done the clinical studies. This is most likely by the time we finish and launch TR90 in October, this will be one of the best and most well-studied weight management system in the industry. Okay, we have already finished this first open label study, if you will, where we have shown significant decrease just in fat and not in muscle. We have no negative impact on muscle. In fact, in certain individuals, we actually saw a slight increase in lean muscle mass. Okay. You can see the visible results, and they have reduced cravings, and you won't feel as hungry with the TR90. Those are reports that we have gotten back from this first clinical study. And we are continuing with a second study with over 100 people now, where we will have some of the results available by October to share with you. And again, we are hoping it will corroborate what we see in the first clinical study. You can see it's a wide range of individuals with a wide range of weights and so on. And we are going to look at gene expression in these folks, and we'll be able to share those results with you by October. What is interesting in this particular study is the fact that we are going to look at gene expression of these people before and after TR90, and also while looking at their fat loss and see whether we can actually confirm that their muscle will be improved or increased in the presence of TR90 products. So, I've shared quite a bit of science with you, and I think with TR90 the results coming in are really very exciting to me, because I've never seen a weight management system where you can have a total loss of fat, 100%, all the weight loss is associated with fat, with no impact on muscle. So, but to better show you an example of somebody who had been taking TR90 over the last few months, I'd like to show you a video of this person. So, can we play the video?
Most people don't know that I'm going to do this, or that there's even a challenge for me, because it's not necessarily the first thing they see when they look at me, and they're unaware of the prices that I'm paying around my self-esteem and the relationship that I have with me in making agreements and keeping agreements with myself. And so I think that's also going to be the biggest opportunity, because a lot of times people will see the end result and go, oh, we've always been like that, or that wasn't a challenge for you. So I'm halfway through my 90-day challenge journey, and I must admit that in the beginning I was nervous about a few things. I was nervous about what was going to happen when I made healthy lifestyle choices and adjustments, and for me that looked like taking out caffeine, sugar, and alcohol, and also breads out of my diet and nutrition, and then the withdrawals that would happen from that. And this is the first weight management system that I have used that I did not have any withdrawals from those things. So from day one, I felt like I had great energy, no headaches, no fatigue, and just felt really incredible in the system.
on TR90. So far down 17 pounds and 7% body fat. As you can see, I'm working hard. However, the results are so worth it, and I'm excited for my next 90 days.
So here I am, it's day 90, and I am a completely transformed person. This program has been incredible. Between the products, changes around my eating, and consistency around my activity levels, I've got a really strong foundation under me now to keep going on my next 90 days and just get better and better and better.
Please welcome to the stage, Casey Council.
So there you go. I've known Casey for many years now, and I mean, look at her, right? Yeah, okay. Well, Casey, when you started with the TR90 system, what, 90 days ago, I guess, or maybe slightly more than that, what do you expect?
I expected it was going to be hard.
Okay. Really hard?
Well, you know, anytime I look at changing things and creating new habits and disciplines, there's always all these reasons and excuses as to why not. And then a host of things that pop up that make it really inconvenient. And I knew that because I had a high level of accountability, because I was reporting into Kathy Schultz every week, that my butt was on the line. So.
She is one mean lady, isn't she?
Well, actually, I love her now.
Yeah, I know.
Good accountability.
Yeah, it's always after the fact with Kathy. It's never before. Yeah. It's tough, yeah, Kathy. Yeah, she's one mean lady. Yeah. You should get her on TR90 too. Yeah, well,
That would be scary.
I know it's scary. So, what's one thing? After you've gone through the TR90 system now, Casey, one thing that you would share with the audience here. What do you think?
Here's what I think. It is really about making a lifestyle change, and this program has been so easy to use. I've been on the road traveling, whether I'm at home, and it's really just in the first couple of weeks creating the new disciplines. I set alarms in my phone. I felt really great on the products though, and that was the big thing, because a lot of times when we make changes, sometimes we feel worse before we feel better, and it's the anticipation of that feeling worse that sometimes we put off starting, and then weeks and years go by and pounds go up.
Yeah.
And so because of what this program felt like being on it, feeling really good from day one, and then that just continuing to be better and better, and it's something that was not inconvenient to use. I would say that anybody that's looking to really have an effective, I don't even like to say weight management, because really what I was looking at was body fat percentage.
Yes.
And a total restructuring of my body.
Yeah.
If you want to restructure and be the fittest, firmest, most energetic version of yourself, this is a great program to be on.
Okay, so getting on the scale was not your prime measurement. You were looking at yourself in the mirror and
You saw the naked pictures, right? The ones they just showed? I mean, they might as well have been naked. It was not pretty.
really?
You didn't notice the not pretty part about that?
No, I was focusing on Scott's naked body.
Oh. I can see why that would have blocked that out.
Yeah, that grossed me out, so I laughed.
I would say that they should give you a bonus for the mental scarring that might have
I
happened.
know. I'm still trying to recover. I'm sort of under therapy right now.
You have my deepest compassion.
You know, Scott is a hard man. His office is next to mine, right?
It is?
Yes, I know. It's very difficult.
You might want to renegotiate that.
Yeah, it's life stuff here. Yeah.
I think I'll stay in California.
I know. So the eating plan, Casey, coming
Yes.
back to TR90, did you was it difficult to devise an eating plan that suits you and you're happy with?
No. So what I did was, it took preparation, of course. So I would have my shakes with me at all times, because sometimes the schedule changes and you don't know. And really it's about the consistency and keeping blood sugar levels at the same level and making sure that I'm having enough. You know, initially it felt like, oh my goodness, I'm eating all the time and I'm eating when I'm not hungry. And then I realized, oh, wait a minute, eating when I'm hungry is how I got to where I was at. So that not being hungry and really just eating to fuel my body, and advanced preparation. Buy some apples, buy some little packets of almond butter, hard boil some eggs as my snacks, and then I've got my shakes and my meal. It was really just planning for that. When's going to be the meal during the day? And it's only one thing to think about is when's the meal.
Yeah.
And for me, the fewer things I have to think about, the better.
Yeah. That's great. Well, Casey, I mean, living testimonial to TR90. What do you think? Thank you. Okay. So, I think we're going to bring Greg back on stage, and you're going to have my radiated stepchild to tell you about another product, right? Okay. Thank you.